And now, here's the host of the Recovery Alley, Geoff Neenstead.
John.
Welcome to Murpheys Diesel, folks. I'm sitting here with Hot Rod, my main man. I'm also sitting here with Geoff. And Geoff is with Recovery Alley. If you guys tune in to Geoff at Recovery Alley and Southwest Tow Operators, they're talking about everything towing, folks. So you can learn about EVs, you can learn about recoveries, you can learn about environmental. So,
yeah, it's like you said, it's everything towing, Rick. Southwest Tow Operators, we're one of the towing associations in the state of Texas. We're out there fighting for the towing industry, killing bad bills, getting stuff taken care of so we can make a little more money because, we're getting screwed out there all the time.
yes, sir.
So, so I figured I'd get Wrecker Rick over here and hopefully it might get a little Western.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about this. So you've been doing this a lot longer than I have, Rick. You're like a YouTube phenom. I don't know how many people are watching Murpheys Diesel's YouTube channel, but I'd say go subscribe and follow. These guys are a great bunch of guys out there. And Hot Rod, like you say, you're one of the main guys out there. This man will do anything, I believe, for Rick.
Just about. That's why he's my main man. So.
That's what you got to have with this stuff, man. I've got a guy that's my right. He's like my right arm, and he won't leave me. I mean, it doesn't rain, sleet, snow. It doesn't matter. You're out there. I see you. It doesn't matter. You might be on a skid steer. You're a server. You just what? I mean, what is your job title at Murpheys Towing?
I don't know if I really have a job title. I think it's just right-hand man.
Right-hand man. That encompasses everything out there. I mean, y'all are out there in Arizona, Flagstaff, Ashbury.
Flagstaff, Ashfork, and Holbrook.
Okay, yeah. So,
yes,
like I said, I've been watching y'all. Y'all run into some pretty hairy recoveries out there. We watch you quite often, and a lot of times watching somebody on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, you could actually learn a few things. I'm not going to lie to you. You've got a little method on your rollovers on your 18-wheelers and your dry vans and stuff. And I'm here to tell you that it works pretty good. I tried it.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So I mean, you're helping the industry also because there's people out there that don't understand. They don't understand the equipment that we need when we're out there. And I think we share the same equipment. We got, Thad and Susan from Bailey's Towing Accessories. They provide us with a quality piece of rigging equipment so we can try to stay safe out there when we're doing recoveries. And then we have them moments. We just talked about this just a minute before we went live. We have the most shit moments. And, you cut a sling out there. Let's talk about maybe one of the recoveries that really stands out in your head. Like you had the brisket truck. Who gets lucky enough to get a brisket truck?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of briskets flying everywhere on that one. That one doesn't really stand out to me a lot. I mean, the trailer was compromised. I mean, to me, a recovery that stands out is trailers that we roll over that are in hard places and we roll them over fully loaded still.
So you had, it was a tank, hydrogen?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Now I'm going to tell you what, so we're messing with something that's extremely volatile. And so as a recovery operator, we know what we're doing, but there was a lot of people involved in that recovery because they didn't want anything to blow up.
Right.
So that was extremely technical recovery that y'all did. Landed it spot on. I mean, most of y'all's are landed spot on. And that's something you don't find in the industry anymore. Do y'all train at all?
No.
You don't?
No, I'm going to be completely honest. We rarely ever, we do so many recoveries. We're doing over 500 recoveries a year between the 3 locations. So we don't do a lot of training. We get a lot of hands-on on the job. So we don't really get a lot of time to train.
You don't have time to train. Your training's out there on the road.
Yes, sir.
Well, y'all definitely proven yourselves to be a solid recovery company.
Thank you.
But it's like I said, just so what's one that really stands out with you?
That hydrogen one stood out. I mean, it was a fairly easy recovery. The most difficult part of that recovery was getting law enforcement to step aside and let us do our jobs, because they kept wanting to go back to the engineers that engineered the structure, and DOT did, and tell us how they wanted it rigged and everything. And the way they wanted it rigged, just it wasn't going to work. So, but probably the most recent recovery that stands out in my mind is one we had in the bottom of Walnut Canyon. It was a load of noodles. It was laid on its side. It was probably 300 foot. Might not, maybe 100, 200 foot probably, down at the bottom of a really steep embankment, and there's no roads to get down into there, so we had to pull it all the way back up out of there, and they wouldn't give us lane closure. DOT, ADOT, none of them would come out and give us a lane closure, so we had to work it all from the shoulder, and there was the guardrail right there. We had 2 rotators and a 9055 on it.
And I guess this is hard to say when you're doing what we do with the heavy recovery and stuff. You have to build this relationship with the transportation people out there, whoever handles your highways, with law enforcement. And soon enough, they realize that, wait a second, these guys know what they're doing. And when it comes to the rotator, it's first of all, it's a magnificent machine.
Yes, sir.
They don't understand the platform and how we have to set up.
Right.
They'll call for a rotator, and then it's like you pull up and you're like, hey, well, and then it's like, I need a little room over here. But that's what we call it. You have to understand our platform. Now, if we're picking off one side, it might not be so bad. If you got to pick and swing, you got to be set up.
Yes, sir.
You've got to be set up. When it comes to that rotator, your setup, your platform is everything. If you don't get set up right, you can have an issue.
Yes, sir.
You got, how many do you have now?
We got 3 rotators and 10 heavies.
But on the rotators, did you say you had 2 75s and a 50?
I got two 1150s, which are 50 tons,
50
and
tons.
I got one
War Horse.
1075.
That's that War Horse?
War Machine is
War Machine.
1075, yeah.
Okay. I remember when you got that truck, you and your wife went up and picked it up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And, people don't realize, we got this stuff going on in the industry right now, and people are kind of looking down on us. Let me ask you a question real quick before I get to this. How many recoveries do you, it's on a percentage wise, how many recoveries do you not get paid on?
I would say on especially burn jobs, we only get paid about 50% of those.
So the way we're looking at it, we're figuring out that probably 40 to 60% of our heavy duty recoveries that we do, we're not getting paid on.
Pretty close.
And then when we do get paid on them, we're dealing with 3 different insurance companies. We got cargo, we get physical damage, and all this other day. And they try to run this gauntlet on us, thinking we're going to go away, thinking we're going to drop our price. I know I just bought a rotator not too long ago, and I know you've got several of them. They need to realize that this is a $1 million machine. Think about a fire apparatus that's out there with a municipality. We're privately funded. That money's coming out of my pocket and your pocket when we're buying that, not getting paid on stuff. And now we got this stuff where they're calling us predators. And personally, I take huge offense to somebody calling me a predator. I'm in the towing industry, for 1, because it saved my life, 2, because I love it, and 3, because I like to help people. And I think any of us that are out there are in the same spot. We're out there because we're helping strangers. We're the guys at 3 o'clock in the morning when you've got a problem and there's a driving rainstorm, or in your case, a blizzard condition. We come. And we're the only industry that gets called out to do a job before we ever know if we're getting paid. People might think we're crazy.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and I mean, that's it. That's, with heavy recoveries, you say we're dealing with 3 different types of insurance. We're dealing with 3 different. You're dealing with the cargo, you're dealing with the truck, and you're dealing with the trailer, and they're always different. And then you're also dealing with them. They put a cap on it. they're only covered for 5,000. On the truck, they're only covered for 5,000 on the cargo, and they're only covered for 5,000 on the trailer. And when you big catastrophic recovery that you have to clean off the highway, sometimes $15,000 doesn't cover it. So,
well, a lot of times nowadays, $15,000 doesn't cover it. Let's think about a scene where you got 2 or 3 rotators out there, and it might be hard for somebody to fathom needing that many trucks out there. But when you've got, it's like you said earlier about your recoveries, uprighting these trailers loaded and stuff. To do that on a compromised trailer, having 3 rotators is what's going to stand that thing back up without dumping a load on the road.
yes, sir.
And they're going to have to pay for that. We didn't put that truck on its side in the ditch,
No.
but it always seems like we're the bad guy.
Yeah, we didn't put the truck on the side in the ditch, but yet we're the ones hung out for the bill.
And, we talk about the burn jobs. Man, I tell you what, I've had a run. It's like we've been getting one like almost every other day. And, man, you get if you don't get a big logistics company that you're working for, you're getting hung with it. Yeah. You're getting hung with it. And there's no salvage value anymore. The load's gone, the trailer's gone, the truck's gone, and these things litter our yards.
Yeah.
And we keep them there. I'm not sure what the process is in Arizona. We've got to keep a vehicle for 48 days, send all the notices and everything. And one of the big things that they're coming after us with is people are, and I wasn't a big fan of it, people putting admin fees on recovery bills. I get the admin fee now. I'm talking 3 different insurance companies.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with a broker that's pissed off about the load. I'm dealing with the carriers. You're dealing with all these people, and they don't realize the amount of time. And I mean, I don't know what you put your price on you, but I'm pretty valuable.
Yes, sir.
So I'm not. We work for free enough.
Yeah.
So that's one of the big things with the towing industry. We got a lot of stuff coming down, and people, like I said, they're looking at us like we're thieves. I'm going to tell you what everybody needs to think about. What happens if Wrecker Rick says, you know what? I'm not going.
Yeah.
They can stay out there. I'm going to tell you what, and we can't do this, and we're not. Just imagine if the wreckers said, you know what? We're just going to stop. For 5 hours, we're going to stop. What's going to happen in the United States?
Yes, sir. Yeah, there'd be a lot of stuff on the side of the highways.
So, I mean, people,
a lot of closed highways too.
People look at us in a different light. They look at us that we're, some people might call us low lives. Like I said, they're calling us predators. But I'll tell you what, I mean, I honestly, people driving down the highway, they see a recovery going on. They have no idea what goes into that recovery. All they know is that, hey, well, Rick shows up. I don't know. It's gone. Yeah. And to be able to have competent recovery companies that do what we do is huge in the United States. If we weren't there, it's not going to happen. Commerce stops. Everything just shuts down. We got to think about people trying to get a pregnant woman to a hospital. If we're not there clearing the roads, she's having a baby in the back seat.
Yes, sir.
It's like I said, people don't think they look at us in a different light, but I'm here to tell you, anybody that's doing heavy duty recovery, and again, we talked about this before we went on, we're doing more math on the fly than we're literally really close to being physicists, and it's the truth. My daughter, when she was in college, every semester she did be biology, chemistry, when she got to physics. And she came back to the house for me. She said, God, Dad, it's just so hard, man. I said, look, baby, I got a 9th grade education. I don't even know what this is. And she goes, well, I don't even know what physics is. He goes, what do you mean, Dad? Snatch blocks, angles, okay. He said, you're using physics every day. And I started thinking, wow. So that physics teacher has got a chalkboard to work out a problem on while we're on the side of the road. Like I said, we're doing this math in our head.
Yes, sir.
Like this. So we're actually extremely intelligent individuals. And I want every heavy duty operator that's out there doing it right to realize how smart they are and how good they are.
I got a doctorate in recovery. So.
Yeah. Where'd you get that from? Is that the School of Hard Knocks?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That's where I went to, but it always worked for me.
Self-awarded.
So, we need to get, so American Towman does the Masters of Chaos Award. I'd like to try to get one of your. I want you to give me some pictures and some information on one of your best recoveries.
Okay.
And I want to give it to American Towman, and I want to get y'all nominated for the Masters of Chaos Award that's given out in Fort Worth, Texas, at the American Towman show there, because I think you definitely deserve it.
Thank you.
I was lucky enough to be honored with the Masters of Chaos Award. Really lucky this year. I was named American Towman 2024, and that doesn't have anything to do with the recovery ability. It's what I do above and beyond for the industry. I'm the guy that's always. I'm at the Capitol. I'm testifying in committee. I'm killing bad bills. I'm fighting, and I mean, I don't just do it in Texas. I've had other states get in touch with the association. My big thing was the move over law. My son was hit in 2015, and I had a law enforcement officer tell me that it was his fault because he didn't realize that we'd been incorporated into the move over law. And I realized we had a problem. That's why I started getting more into the legislative stuff. But yeah, we got to be involved. We got to do stuff, But we need to award people that are doing it and doing it well. So, like I said, I want you to get me some information on that. And if we do that and you actually win, I get to see y'all again in Texas.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Sounds like a good time. I'm down.
So I was looking real quick. It looks like how many? Like I said, you're like a YouTube phenom. We got some other guys out there on YouTube. I'm not going to mention any names. There's some people I don't really like that are out there doing it. How many followers do you have on your YouTube channel?
I think we're at like 56,000.
56. How long you been running that YouTube page?
A little over a year.
And I y'all. So one thing I do run into, you spurred some stuff when I started watching Murpheys Diesel, but it's a little different. I don't have the opportunity to catch the footage that y'all are catching.
Yeah.
They don't like to see cameras on scene.
Yeah. No, they don't like it in our area either, and we're actually toning it down just a little bit. So.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that kind of sucks because I understand both sides of it.
Yes, sir.
Because I think it's important to get out what we're doing. People don't understand. They don't, and that's the biggest problem we have with legislators is they don't understand our business. And I've begged senators and state representatives just come out. Yeah. And just watch what we do. That way, when that bill that's gonna be detrimental to our industry, they understand what we do and how valuable we are. People that they have forgotten how valuable the tow truck operator is, and we need to let them know just how important we are and how lucky. I mean, that's what it is. The people, the municipalities, and the stuff that you're working for, they're lucky.
Yes, sir.
They're lucky to have you. It doesn't take me long to look at a crew and realize, hey, these guys are solid. I mean, I put together a solid crew. I know what it takes to put together a solid crew. My operations guy, his name's David. Like I said, I told you earlier, he's my right arm, just like the Hot Rod is here. These guys don't quit. You're a huge part of probably the success of Murphy's Diesel, the way you work. And this man's laid out a business and a business plan and the way he does business. And it's a great crew that y'all have out there. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I told you the other day, I stopped watching you for a little while because you never returned my phone call. Then I realized you didn't get the message. Sometimes I jump a little quick and I get my feelings hurt. Yeah. So it was just really cool when I watched you walk by the other day and I'm like, hey, wait a minute. That's Wrecker Rick. So I haven't come up with a cool name yet. I mean, my name's Geoff with a G. Yeah. I'm named after a giraffe from Toys R Us. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm like, Wrecker Geoff.
I think Geoff is pretty cool.
So, yes, so when I was in elementary school, my teacher called me Geoff. Yeah. And I kept correcting her, and she said, well, no, then you spelt it wrong. My mom was at school the next day. It was a bad deal.
Like that. Yeah. There, we got a Geoff in here. Geoff, raise your hand, Geoff. Yeah.
Then I get in trouble for not raising my hand because I didn't know what he's asking for. So,
Right.
man, I tell you what, Rick, I'm really glad you gave me the opportunity to sit down and talk with you. Hot Rod, it was a pleasure to meet you. I mean, you're a hell of a go-getter. This, like I said, it's like my guy David. You don't quit, man.
Yeah.
And you know, in the towing industry and what we do, at the end of the day, we have one option, and that only option is completion.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I literally think that these guys think we pull up with a freaking like a magic wand sometimes. You know, you get out and they watch you do it for so long, and they watch the success. So the firefighters and law enforcement, like, I don't know, they're going to come out here and they're going to clean it up. You walk out there, you pull up, and you're like, shit, man. You walk off, you have your little walk around, you have a little talk, and tell them, hey, we got to make this one look good. It's going to be tough.
Yes,
I mean, they get so used to seeing the success, but they don't realize this why we have that success. And with a lot of our firefighters and our fire departments, they're paying more attention to the rotator, because that rotator is not only a recovery machine. We can really help when it comes to stabilization and a lot of other things. Have y'all ever been asked to do anything like that on a scene, on stabilization or something, so they could extricate or anything like that?
Yeah, we have. I've had lots of, ordeals where they've asked us to expedite a rotator to the scene. So, unfortunately, a lot of them are fatals.
Yeah.
And, they need us to pick a semi off of a car and, do an extraction.
Yeah.
That's, and I mean, that's kind of why I started a YouTube channel, is to focus on, the appearance of towing companies, and show, I have a lot of law enforcement folks watching my channel, a lot of firefighters and stuff like that. And then maybe they can grasp and get an understanding of how our trucks work, how we work as a team. And then they could understand, when they call us out to do a job, or what equipment they want to call. Like, they call you out and how many times have you been called out to a scene where they call for a heavy and they needed to call a rotator?
It's getting better because they're starting to understand the rotator.
Yeah.
I even remember the first time that they actually requested a rotator. We had dispatched a light duty record for an accident in one of the cities. And we dispatched the truck to the scene. A couple of minutes later, the phone rings, and I happened to be in the office. So I just jumped on a phone to help him out in the office a little bit, and it was dispatch again. And so dispatch had never heard this. It was the funniest thing. They said, yeah, we just dispatched a light duty out to 17400 IH35 for a vehicle accident. Yes, ma'am. And she's they're requesting. Did they say a rotator? I could hear you hollering at one or the other. Yeah, they're requesting the rotator. I said, all right, we'll get it on the way.
Yeah.
We had a lot of construction going on right now, so they're putting these passenger vehicles where you can't get a record to them. So they're realizing, okay, they're getting ahead of the game. The flatbed, it's not going to get it. You can't get down in there. So they're just sending a rotator, and we're doing a lot of light duty recovery with that rotator just so we get that road cleared faster.
Yeah.
They're a magnificent machine. There's a whole lot they can do. People just need to realize we're out there to do a job. We're privately funded. And yes, even though we like to do this stuff, we are out here. We're out here to make money. That's our job.
Yeah.
It's our profession. So, and it's like you said, with your YouTube channel, and I'm hoping with Recovery Alley in the future, people start understanding the importance of what the towing industry does.
Yeah.
What we do out there, and that we're not all bad. We got bad apples in our industry.
But every industry does. And, we don't need to get branded all as predatory towing agencies when, you got a couple out there that do that. I mean, most of us want to keep the towing industry has been good to me, and I want to keep, doing business. And I'm here to help people. I'm not here to be a predator. So, I mean, I know you're not either. So I mean, that's.
I mean, it's like I said, man, I love what I do.
Yeah.
I actually,
Yes,
I think
sir.
it's kind of cool that we're actually allowed to do what we do. I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
we're freaking problem solvers. It's like I said, when you pull up on that scene, and y'all got mountains. I don't have a whole lot of mountains where I'm at. I've seen your recoveries, and you talk about one 200 foot off the road. I know that y'all had one. It was a 2-day ordeal.
Yes, sir.
You had that. I mean, because y'all were out there knocking down trees. You had winch boxes out there. This was last year, I guess. I think I saw it, but that thing was probably more like 300 foot off the road.
Yes, sir.
It
was a ways down there.
And so, I mean, you pull up on something like that, and I don't have to imagine. I know what goes through your head. But if you're like me, as soon as you see it, it's like a Rubik's cube in your mind. Things start twisting, and you start putting things into place, and that's people don't understand that about the towing industry. I mean, we walk up and we put a game plan together in a matter of minutes. I used to have law enforcement push on me. I'd have fire push on me. And I had an officer that was just on us about a recovery one day. And he said, how much longer are you going to be out here? I said, I looked at it, he had a SWAT tag on. I said, SWAT? He said, yeah. I said, so y'all got an op going on, right? I said, y'all gather your intel and stuff, have plan to safely execute, and then you execute, right? Yeah. All right. We're putting our plan together. I got a firefighter that's down our throats. We need to get out of here. I said, hey, man, when you get to a structure fire, you go running in or no? I said, yeah, you get your game plan together so you can safely execute, right? We're no different. We don't want anybody hurt. We want stuff to go right the first time.
Right.
So as a towing company, you got to try to build those relationships with law enforcement and fire. And if we're out there, if we're lucky enough to be out there, working with the same guys for a long time, they start to understand that. I think. Have you?
I've experienced that. Most of the guys we work with, a lot of them I'm actually have made relationships with and become friends with over the years, and develop that trust. And the same, it works both ways. I may need a lane closure, and before I might not have got it because we're supposed to provide our own traffic control in Arizona.
Okay.
But, a lot of times, having these relationships with ADOT, they don't want to see us out there, getting hurt. They don't want to see us. They don't want us to have to deal with that. So they'll shut the lane down for us. And if you don't build that relationship, they'll just say, hey, it's your responsibility to shut this lane down yourself.
And it's huge to make those connections with the relationships. Yeah. I've been lucky enough to be working out where I'm at for the last going on 24 years. And, it's got to the point where, how long do you think it's going to take? And I said, it's not going to happen fast. We're going to need a long term. In Texas, if it's more than 2 hours, it's considered a long-term closure.
Yes, sir.
And it's got to the point now where a lot of times I go directly to the district supervisor for that district, and I call them and I tell them what I need because I close the gap. Because if you got to wait for the officer to call dispatch to call them, it's like that telephone game. Something's going to get messed up.
Yes, sir.
So I get them going, and they activate everything I need on my word. They just tell me when you get to see, make sure you have PD call us and activate us.
Yeah.
But by the time they're activated, they're already rolling. They've got everything going, and that's because of that relationship we've built. And I've always shot them straight. So,
yes,
like I said again, I really appreciate you and Hot Rod taking the time to come over and talk with us a little bit. It's a great honor. I've been waiting for this for a while. Again, I'm going to find a way to get you so I get you back down in Texas and maybe see you again. But like I said, get me one of your best ones. Just a little narrative and some pictures. Yes, and I'm going to turn it into some people, see if I can get you nominated for that Masters of Chaos Award.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
So
that'll be fun.
Again, this is Geoff with Southwest Tow Operators Recovery Alley, Rick with Murpheys Diesel, Hot Rod with Murpheys Diesel. I hope y'all enjoyed it. It didn't get as Western as we wanted it to, but believe me, it will get Western at some time with this man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, go check them out, folks.
All right, y'all have a good day, and remember, Check us out on Recovery Alley.